Hey Krishna, thanks for coming, but glad to have you here. Let me know if there is any problems with sound or the levels of the sound and music. Ah, nice to hear that. Give me a second, we'll start soon. Just posting some links in Twitter and my social media. So, I think I can start already, and thanks Krishna. I hope I pronounced correctly your name. Yeah, the series is kind of stuck right now. I'm glad that it helps you to work with Rust and general development of operating systems, but unfortunately recently I was like kind of okay, I'm kind of tired out of this operating system thing and wanna did a like really long break. Eventually I will come back to this series and we'll do this further. So right now I'm doing like some experimentations on this video channel and we'll try some different approaches, different projects and different series. Hope you'll like them as well. Anyway, thanks for your feedback and glad it helps you. Yeah, as the name of this stream says, I'm planning to do the mechanical keyboard. It's like my long time idea and project that I really like to make. Really would like to make an mechanical keyboard. So by myself I have a couple of them. So you see in my window there is a mechanical keyboard, one of mine, but I never developed my own one, though I have experience with development of the circuit boards, schematics, PCBs, casing, and all these electronic engineering things. And this is my like first attempt to do one mechanical keyboard. And usually when you look in these YouTube channels like in the internet and they say DIY mechanical keyboard, all what they mean is they buy separately the case, plate, keyboard, PCB and keys and keycaps and combine them together. So basically it's like a Lego similar or IKEA wise DIY. But what I mean under this DIY development is development from very beginning to the very end, like from the scratch, and make it look like we want to look it. So my suggestion would be to start with a mood board, like I prefer to start any of my projects with a mood board. And mood board is some images, screenshots, ideas, what I'd liked and what I would like to put into my, well, what I'd like to see in my keyboard, in my build. So this mood board, I collected like couple of images in them. I searched for a couple of interesting keyboards in Pinterest. So let me show you these. This one is off a bit. So first thing I'd like to have in my keyboard, it's 100% I want to have a knob. I don't know why, but I really like the idea that I can tweak my music level, because I listen a lot of music during my work and I prefer to have a dedicated knob to control the level. So there will be a knob, and the problem with a knob, it gives you a symmetric view look of the keyboard. So if you would do the keyboard and put the knob somewhere, it disbalance the visually how it looks like. For example, let's this one, it's Dieter, I think it's a name, and it's named after the Dieter, designer of the Bosch, not the Bosch, Brown electronics, and it looks pretty similar. And if you look on this, so there is a knob, and on the left side you see this perforated area which visually balances the keyboard. So in the same time, I want to have some kind of RGB shadow lighting here, like in this keyboard or here. It looks very nice. It can be visualized. It can make like some running running lights. For example, here's the similar idea. I think it's GMK or something like that, GMK dots. And I'd like to have this kind of a thing and to use it as a way to balance it. I don't have right now like final idea how I want it, but I have like some kind of an idea to do things. For example, I like this keyboard and this extra space under the sharper angle, and I think about doing it similar way, but I don't like to make the keyboard like not square. So my suggestion would be to move the knob to the right side, put here a small, also I want an OLED display, so there will be a OLED, and we'll see how it will look like. So, and yeah, actually it's not that bad. If we place here like, okay, and another thing, so knob and OLED display, some RGB thing, and plus this keyboard must be, and I want to have it ortholinear, so like this one, so not staggered keys. I never had an ortholinear keyboard, and this will be my first one, and first one that I developed by myself. So wish me luck, as you would say. So I would suggest to make a small sketch kind of ish thing, just to have a rough idea, like I have here. So I take a pen, make it a bit thicker, black, okay. Okay, so we want it to be too much, something like that. and I would add like separate feet to it, so it would be a square but with separate feet, which creates an angle. And this will allow us to control the angle because I don't know which angle would be perfect for this keyboard, so I potentially can make it like different feet with a different height to make a different angle. And if we go with a knob, so we have two options. So one, we can go with this like sharper angle thing with a knob here, so you can turn it on. So here's keys, and I think I'll have 5 rows, and so there will be a numeric row on the top, and since it's ortholinear, so there will be raise and lower buttons that will allow me to control these things. Yeah, and from the front look, I think I would go. So I just move this a bit here. Okay. Okay, so oops, I just make another one. So from the front look, okay, so we'll have this like sharper angle plate where we place the knob, and on this side I would place some small LCD or OLED-ish display thing, and would place here a knob and maybe some 2 smaller knobs, but let's skip it for now, so that I just will go with a 1 knob maybe, but we'll see how it will look like. Let's try with this kind of a narrow line of some semi-translucent material, which will have some RGB lighting going on, and I would also add a ring around the knob. So we have the knob is, by the way, also clickable, so the knob that will somehow light up. Of course, the whole RGB lighting will be switch offable for those moments when you don't need it and don't want to see extra flashing. And I have an idea for the LCD. Actually, LCD or OLED, it's kind of a useless, to be honest, but I just want to have it just for a cool look. And my idea for the screen is my idea for the screen is this, how it looks like in the, what was the name of this TV series with a guy with David Hasselhoff and the something rider or something like that, whatever. So there's red lighting in it, so so it has like just a red letters in. I think it will have a really nice look if I'll find the screen for this and it fits to it, so we'll see. Anyway, So this is like a first concept. So this will look like, and everything will be ortholinear. So buttons under buttons. And I don't want to have a dedicated spacebar or something like that. So all buttons will be either 1 unit or 1 unit and 25 for the outside rows, like in this one. I really like how it looks this one, but I would remove the dedicated bars for the space bars. And yeah, kind of will steal the look of this one. Yeah, then the next step, so as my agenda says, so agenda was making the concept, mood board I prepared. Next step would be to making a layout, and for layout usually we would use the keyboard layout editor, and feel free to visit this website. It's like open source and very helpful for development, and we can go with some already ready presets just to start with. Here's like different presets: ergodox, ISO, different ergonomicons, Planck, kinesis. We need, I think we can start with this Planck one. It's kind of a small. If we look at this one, so we have this QWERTY. Because I'm a software developer, I want to have these development necessary things like semicolon, colon, square brackets, curly brackets, and all these things. So we will look at this one and kind of copy this one. So it has all 99 things. Yeah, what we need to do is we need can you copy it here? Yeah, copy, paste, and we cannot move it downwards. Okay, upwards. Sorry. Okay, so I don't want escape to be in that place. Of course, everything will be controlled by QMK, and everything is remappable, but still I want to have it different titles. Yeah, wrong. Escape. And here we had, so I want this button should be escape, and I want it's a bit bigger than normal size, and I want it to be with it's not the best editor ever, but anyway, so this one should be 1.5, so just will make it everything out of it bigger. Yeah. And we want similar not best editor ever. Still thanks we have even this one. Yeah, why I'm making these bigger, because I want an ortholinear, but I don't want to make my habits like too much. So I want to have it some buttons that I click with my pinky or something like that, just to be slightly bigger than normal buttons. So it's kind of generally a good idea, I think. I'm not sure. Sure though. It's anyway, this keyboard is for me, not for selling purpose. So I can go here like full custom as I want it. Here should be 0, and what they have like 0. I have on my keyboard 0, minus, plus, pipe. What's missing though here, what I want to have, it's tilde. This is a tricky question, to be honest. Usually tilde is when you have functional key, you place it next to the numeric row, and escape it's on the functional row. Since I don't want to have dedicated functional row, tilde should be somewhere else. The question is, can we... It's not the most often used thing, but I think we can place it somewhere here. I'll just make an extra row. It won't be like 100% symmetric. It's not like here 6 switches, 6 buttons, and in this side it will have way more. But I think it's fine. So the main one is minus, and bottom legend underscore, I guess, something like that. It's different. Nope. Let's just make it minus. Then we have it's really bad that I cannot move it around with a mouse, but it's fine. Yeah, so here is 5, like central. Maybe we do it like with the top legend, central legend. So I have the here's plus, and on the bottom legend it's this way, equal sign. And actually in the front legend, so on the front side of the keycap, we can have extra something, so it can be a functional key thing. Yeah, so this one is, it's 11, and this one it's F12. So this how it should, and here if we look at our example, so it's obvious that they placed on this row. Usually there's sorry, this was my Twitter, by the way, my Twitter. Here it's backspace or delete. Let's make it delete. Then we have, because it's a row under the usually you would have numeric row. It's an interesting question. It can be different. So they place return here in the standard preset, but I'm not the biggest fan. Just to be safe, maybe we can just make a permanent link out of it and work in this permanent link. Permanent link, by the way, allows you to save the state of this view. So maybe I can go here for tilde. Oops. And bottom legend. So and here we would go for delete, and under the delete usually you have enter / return, and then you have shift and Fn. Like in my happy hacking keyboard, it's Fn on the right side. On my other one, there's nothing. So this is a good question. Do we want to place some? It's everything remappable, but it's still good to map it, like to have some orientation on this. What should be there? Let's see what others do in this type of things. They go completely nuts on it. So this one, it's semi-ortholinear because some of them staggered, some of them not. We can go actually as semi-ortholinear in this case too. As I see, they have the same length width of the buttons, but they are kind of moved within them because it's a half, and you can do this. And this kind of too much to my taste. Let's see. So we have P, and here should be square brackets and curly brackets, and we want this button to be on the top too, and another square brackets. And instead of top, this is no, we are on the wrong sorry, we're on the wrong version of it. Okay, I already did this. Okay, so here would be this one, square brackets, curly brackets, square bracket. It's just for orientation to have a better picture, not a final version of it. And usually I like to have a dedicated pipe and backslash button, and I would place it over here. What we can do though, we can make the enter button just bigger. So we can say we want this be not 2, but even 2.5 maybe. Yeah, so in this case it would be a semi-ortholinear, since we have a bigger like enter button. But since it's super custom, so we can do wherever we want. We can go there as well. So we have this row with the shifts, and we can go with a shift in this direction. And we have a space to put a couple of buttons over here. What I don't like, generally, I don't like here in this version that arrows, sometimes you need arrows sometimes, and I would like to have them like perfectly aligned. And the only way to do this is to move the arrow section to the left here. Actually, it's not the only way, but it's a preferable one in this case. I need to get us some space here. Okay, so we'll make it this way. Let me check on the keyboard. Okay, it's fine. So what we can have as an option command, something like that. This one. Okay. I would make another permanent link just to save status. Maybe download just to save this. Now we have. Maybe I need some music too. So you hear the music, but I do not. Let me switch on some music for myself too. Do I hear? No. Maybe then let's turn it on separately. You don't see it because it's in another window, I guess. Wherever is okay. So here will be I know actually. So my fingers are on the JKLM. JKLM, and I want to have space bar under the H for 100%, not for under the J. So under the J I can have I don't necessarily have to do that. So let's go into the other side and see. So we have escape tab. Under the tab I want to have control. Under the control I want to have shift, and here I want to have a normal button, not like 1 unit. So 1 unit button, and 1 unit will be, in my case, it will be FN. And then, because we remove this health, we don't have to keep this health as well. So we can remove this health too. So it will just make space for, I don't know actually. We'll see. So this one is a raise. And raise, it's cool. But we need no, it won't work like that. Like I thought, because the top row, it's not 1 unit dividable. Okay, then we need to go. Let's see. I have usually on my normal keyboard I have Control, Alt, and Super. Yeah, and we see it doesn't work as intended. not good. Okay, then we just make it fn, just make slightly bigger. It doesn't necessarily, keycaps do not necessarily have to have legend on them. Yeah, so they can just have something. So in this type of fn, for example. And I don't want, actually, since I already have this not standard keys, I would go with it's already too custom, and it will be kind of expensive to find the complex for the keycaps, and I just would make like plain keys for the spacebar. So I will have two keys for the space, and would have here, because I'm mostly a Mac user, I would like to have here a command which is super. In the case of the Windows machines, it's a Windows key. And so here we have the same situation like we did over there. It should be 1.5. I'm not sure what it should be, to be honest. It should be option maybe, so which is alt. It's kind of not cool look, actually. I'm not sure about that. Actually, I like how it's done here. Like they have tilde on the other side, and they do not have dedicated escape key. But escape will be under the raise, right? So, or okay, when you click on the raise, you can have tilde, but escape by default. Under the shift, it could have. Is it possible? If you got better ideas, feel free to mention them here. Actually, if I make this one smaller, right? So if I make it one unit, and I'll be able to move it just here. So I would have escape. Just go with a visual, not with a perfect things. And it's already semi-staggered. Not cool. I thought it would win us two bars. No. Okay, we will keep this as it is, just to have some symmetry at least. Ooh. Okay, well, with the tilde it's anyway used. No, I need it. Okay, let's go with the 2 extra bits, so it will be plus one button, I think. Yeah. I like their idea, so I need this pipe though. They placed this one is kind of a backspace, right? So the pipe it's placed under on the Q line, Q row. So yeah, it's semi-staggered. Okay, let's do the semi-staggered thing. It looks good. It looks nice. Anyway like it better than the full orthogonal. At least the words like just normal letters will be ortholinear and the number row will be semi-staggered. Krishna, I don't know what do you mean. So what do you mean which distro? So we'll have here, just close this one. It should give us 2 buttons. So this one will be some plain one. I don't know what to place there yet. I can think about this later. And we want to have clear. I don't understand why this would be a health. Okay, so if it's health, we copy paste and do you mean which os do I use or what? Sorry, I don't get that question. No. So basically they have here like a plus and a dot. It's more page up, page down things. So they have semicolon, colon. We have semicolon, colon, and then goes their control, which I always enter. I prefer to have enter there. Still just old-fashioned way. And if I make it but if I make it like this long, yeah, okay, I can do it this way. So I can just move the enter one here, copy another. Krishna, I use Mac OS, so my working, not just a work machine, it's Mac OS, and mostly I use, of course, some experiments or servers I are on Linux, but for this right now I'm working on the Mac OS. Yeah, it's kind of nice operating system and very versatile for different purposes. Works good for me. Yeah, so actually this would be like that. We kind of have an extra role. It's not just a standard view, something very special. I don't know, it's good or bad. We'll see. And since we moved it, we need just for design, for visual sake of the visuals, we need to have it aligned. This will be a page up, page down, and not necessarily that I have them, but kind of need to place it somewhere. No problem, Krishna. Thanks for being there. So it's nice to have at least one viewer and have some chat with. So it's kind of a boring and long work to designing this thing. It's not like an action interesting anything happens there. It's just a normal things, nothing. So it's nice to have some chat. I'm kinda actually, you know what I think. So if I would remove this one, because it's anyway a small keyboard, right? So if we have some letters under the raise, nothing wrong with that. So I just mean not everything should have dedicated keys. So that's it. Bam. And delete key, make here a copy paste. I don't know, here it can be wherever you like button. It can be a super, it can be a control, it can be FN, so we can later remap it to everything. So kind of ish, we have a numeric lines, semi ortholinear, so it's like a bit of staggered thing there. Actually, no, it's fine. If I would remove this one and just for test, let's go this way. Let's try it out just to keep the consistent, and this will be a tilde, and I just want to have these numbers also aligned. A bit Frankenstein, but fine. I'm okay with that. So we have 1, 2, 3, like 5 units on this side, so the half, and 7 units plus. It's kind of asymmetric, but not quite so, but fine. I'm okay with it. I can live with that. I just download this one. Yeah. So the next step in the keyboard, so when you're done with this layouting thing, you need to make a plate and case to know what, and there's a tool for that. So you need to take this raw data, just copy this one I just copy it, and there's a website called Plate and Case Builder, like builder.swillkb.com, and you put your like layout output here, and then you need to select switch type. So whether these MX or Alps style, and the difference is the cutoff. If you're planning to use just a classic MX, then you need this one. And then if you want the Alps, it should be this way. If you want to open key switches without mounting them out, so you need this cutout. Usually I would go just with this one, so I'm planning to use MX switches, and this should work just fine for me. Stabilizer types depends. In our layout we do not have switches big enough to have stabilizers, so we have the biggest one, it's 1.5, and 1.5 doesn't need a stab, so I can even click remove stab. No, I can, so automatically it just won't put the case type. We don't, since we could go with a sandwich, but I'm planning to design a completely custom case, so no need there. And it won't fit in, I think. The edge padding, do we want edge padding? So it means like edge padding. The edge padding defines the amount of space between the edge of the case and the edge of the keyboard layout. Yeah, definitely. I would add 5 millimeters on the either sides. I just want, I mean, we can re-render it anytime we want. Plate corners. I don't want them to be rounded. Custom polygon, no. Curve. No. Key unit size, no. So that's it. So we can say draw my cut, and there is it. So as you see, usually it would put some stabilizers things if the keys are big enough, but our keys are not big enough for that, and that's actually what it. But what I see, no, actually it's fine. So we add this padding, fine. Let's add feature allows it. No. What if we add sandwich case type? Number of holes. Actually, the plate. Let's make like 10 holes. I don't remember exact size of this. 2.5 millimeters. Edge width. Just leave it. The edge width required in most of numeric values. Width of the material in which the plate is 5. I don't know how it will influence to the end result. Okay, gives interesting. So basically, it's already a kind of a case, this one is a plate. It's sad that there's no holes or anything. I can do it later, so I can change this design. Actually, I would put a couple of standoffs in between just to make this more stable. Otherwise, when you type in, you would feel how it bends under the pressure of your fingers. So the good idea would to put a couple of standoffs between and make holes in, but I just would export this one because I do not plan to use this sandwich design, but I needed these ones. I can change it anyway later, so I save it. I say save actually both of them. Yeah. Next thing is when we have this plate. Actually, we can go to the designing of the case and etc. But I plan to go into the direction of circuit design. I already started to work on some type of a keyboard time ago, but skipped and dropped it a while. So but what would help is the switches and the connection. So I would before we start this, I want to do one thing. So I just make a copy or a screenshot out of it and would put it here. So the idea is in the microcontrollers of the my idea of high use of idea of making a case. It's basically the final one should be aluminum because then heavier the case and then better result, and it feels better and the typing experience is more smooth. But the thing is, aluminum cases are extremely expensive to mill, especially when you want 1-2 pieces. So my idea is first of all to 3D print a couple of versions and try how they would work out, and if they are okay, then I would there's a couple of services where you can send your 3D model and then they would mill it for you. But then also what they would do is if you ask them to, they can anodize this aluminum piece, and it's kind of a cool thing to do. So my plan is to make a couple of iterations on it, but I think 3D printed version also would be fine, but we'll see. It's not fixed yet. But yeah, it's to think about later. So when you're making the keyboards, and you I don't know how many keys do we have here, like 5 to 50. 70 keys or something like that. And usually your microcontroller that you would put in a PCB won't have that much of input things. And usually what you do is you make a rows and columns concept, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I usually, with a staggered one, you have to draw the exact lines, and because we have a semi-staggered here, we need to decide which keys belongs to which row and so on. So what I would do is just to make this is row 1, row 2, I just would draw them. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It's just for us. It also helps when you making a layout in the eagle. So 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 75 keys. And change the color. And the rows goes just like that. With ortholinear, it's way easier than with staggered keyboards. I did it once for the staggered, so it's kind of 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this kind of makes it way easier. I just showed it to show how it would look like. Then let me switch to the eagle. Here in the eagle, you see my previous version that I tried to work on. This like standard staggered keyboard, like similar to the Happy Hacking keyboard. And what we do, we just use it as an alignment. Actually, what I'm planning to do is just make a. No, I don't want to remove it. It would make too many problems. Just an example. One. What's that? It's a LED. I would like to have this keyboard with LEDs in, but it's a next step. We can do this later. So I just will use this as an example for myself. Just make a copy of it. Copy. So we need 5 rows. But before we start, we cannot. Let's first import the design, like a plate design. It would help us a lot. To import, I click on the file, import DXF, and just search it in my download files. In the download files, DXF, it asks me which layer I should go on. The layer should be something not important. It's more for our how it looks like guide would fit I think. Metric unit system. Line width, it's in millimeters, so I would go with 1.01, and that's it. So it's converting the file. Okay. Okay, since we said it would be 0, 0 position for XY, it placed it in the very wrong place. What we need to do is to say we want to place it somewhere. It's kind of makes everything way more complicated. Give me a second. Not good, because right now it's everything overlaid. Okay, then we need to move this one away. Just move it over here, and do import again. Yes. Okay, it's just drawing all of this plate in our schematics, and before start I would go to the settings. By default Eagle is in empirical system, so I would switch to the millimeters because it should be crazy if it's in the inches, like calculate this in inches, it's too much. The size, it's a grid, we're talking about the grid, so size of the grid I would make like 1 millimeter, and to use the default grids in schematics. Okay, what was the default grid? Default, okay, we could just click on the man, it doesn't has default in the millimeters. Okay, I would use just millimeters, but the default. We'll see how. What if we just rounded up lines? Okay. Sometimes there's a problems when you mess up with this. With these default things and things not aligned properly, but it's just a question of how strong is your OCD. Okay, for every switch, so we need for every switch we need a diode, just because it will be measured through the your rows and columns. Your microcontroller connects whether they're asks whether these are connected to or not connected. So from big O perspective, you would go through all endpoints and ask whether this is connected with any of this one. So whether the input 1 connected to column 1 connected with a row 1, row 2, row 3, row, and so on. And you just go this over and over multiple times per second. And this is the way how it works. Of course, I could. Now you see the problem here. Of course, I could go with a bigger microcontroller, but microcontrollers nowadays became also expensive due to the chip delivery outage. But I'm gonna use just a normal microcontroller from the STM F0 series. Okay, you see this not aligned because I cannot move this in between, so I can move only for 1 millimeter. To make it work, we need to change the grid system again and put the alt no, we need to change the grid also to the smaller one, so I would make it 0.1. Even if it's not influencing to anything, I like to have schematics beautiful, look a bit more clean, and it's just a it just looks good if you not selected. What not selected? Okay. Yeah, it's just one straight line. Looks way nicer than kind of a weird one. So as in the previous version, we need the the port 1 of the switch to be column and the diode connector to be a row. So just to save some time, not this one, I just would make a one straight line and okay, I would go this way. By the way, you can just control it this way. Okay, just like that. And otherwise these wires would cross. It doesn't mean the connection, but it would be difficult to line them up. So now I need to select these things. And copy it. Why doesn't it's hard to select what I need without selecting this underline design. I can do this way. Okay, at least this way. Okay, I would place it like that. Okay, and connect this wire, so everything became the same line. And over and over. Okay, so and this is kind of a things you need to do when you're designing circuits, any type of electronics, and there's no way around it. It just takes time. Because I could do this just a fast, quick and dirty way, but then it wouldn't look any good. So what we can do is so in the end, all these things should be same terminal. So if they are not, be careful, this one is not. So I just make it shorter. Okay, so if you select it, it should be everything. This one is not connected. Oh, yeah. Okay, this one is 70 something, and that one is 69 or something like that. Just to... It's connected. Yeah, this one is not connected. Okay. Okay, now everything calls 70. Okay, just to add some. No, I actually would leave it as it is and would remove this one. And the idea now is to copy this thing without copying the underline thing. What we can do is go to the layer settings and temporarily switch off the visibility of underline, and I would copy this and on the layer settings switch off the layer where the guide takes place. And the difficult thing is to make somehow aligned, to be honest, because the grid is so fine. I just want to have it somehow close. It doesn't have to be super correct, but something. We will anyway, in the semi-staggered place, we will anyway have a weird positioning of the buttons, but the switches. By the way, interesting question is like DIYing a mechanical keyboard is no way cheaper than buying ready one. Buying ready one would like just buying separated case, plates and PCB would be even cheaper than doing what I'm doing right now. But therefore a hobby, a nice hobby. Again, this is just a schematics and it's not a layout of the PCB. With a layout, PCB would spend way more time than here, and it should be way more accurate. And this is like kind of a couple of steps later, because I would design the case first and the PCB later, because I need to make sure that like design how I want to look the case and how the whole project, how the build should look like, will influence how the PCB form and all these the PCB would influence to the PCB form, yeah. So it's unavoidable, and I would prefer to keep it to make it later than before I even know how my build will look like final look. I mean, like roughly we know already how it will look like. This is not that beautiful, but as you see, it's not connected. I made a mistake. Well, just move this one, move that way. if I would work in the place where there should be, actually there's a standards like for how to do the schematics and all these things, and each country has these standards, and in the academic field you also need to follow the certain standards of designing schematics and doing these things like the way that other people would get that, the beautifulness of schematics. And that's, since it's a hobby project, I don't see it's necessary right now to, it should be somehow okay, but not follow all these standards. Yeah, way too many work, too much work. It's getting boring. Okay, this one, I would align them later. It's not necessary right now, but what's necessary to connect these things. So I appeared that I did not connected this one and this one, and because the Eagle makes a guiding when you're designing a PCB. All these things should be connected, otherwise you'll have a hard time finding which wire is connected to which wire. Making layout will be even more fun. If you know what I mean. So take hours and hours. Doesn't want to connect. Okay, it doesn't want to cross the correct line. Should be a straight line. I would clean it up later. Okay, now we need to make actually the row thing. Maybe we can start it over here. record go this way from one to another. I'm pretty sure that this is the most boring stream ever taking place in the YouTube platform. So nothing happens, just connecting lines with other lines. For the last couple of hours. Thanks for joining. Like if you're watching this in the records somehow. Then it's better. I will place the link to this result in I would place this result in the GitHub and add this to the description of the video, of course, later. Yeah, thanks, Detective. Actually, yeah, sometimes it's relaxing. I used to do a lot of like circuit design and layouting, and it was very meditative for me at certain period of time. But I don't know how it's to watch this. Like, I know you watching this, how I do this, is it relaxing or it's not? I'm not sure. So this was my concern. I really want people somehow enjoy what I'm sharing, but if it's not, it's also fine. I can understand. Not everyone should share the nerdiness. But for me, it's truly some kind of relaxing, it's true. Yeah, thanks, Detective. I'm actually happy to hear that, because I wasn't sure about this stream and doing this, as I really want to do this keyboard, and doing this stream and sharing. It's kind of feels more interesting than just hanging around in the Sunday and doing this by myself. I also I think actually I found 2 videos in the whole YouTube explaining exactly how you should design and develop your own keyboard, and mostly, as I said, you find only guys doing like just buying cases, plates, and keycaps and calling it DIY. Yeah, so it's kind of the PCBs with a lot of same object, like circuits with the same components many times are always kind of easy, but in the same time difficult, because it's easy to make mistake and really hard to find where you did this mistake, because they're similar. It takes time to be accurate and find these things. As you see, for example, I really don't like when there's this thing. It looks horrible. Even if nobody would see this, but you can see. I really like beautiful layouts in PCBs, so I definitely would invest some time to make a nice PCB for this keyboard, and beautiful traces, maybe some Easter eggs and all these things, because it's a hobby and it's fun to leave some Easter eggs and have a nice finished layout. Yeah. Some people manage to make the keyboard without the diodes, but to be honest, I think not worth it. Placing a diode is not that expensive there, and it saves you port number in your microcontroller. So I think it's better to add the diode there. And the LED, like keyboard backlit, also will be a similar situation, but again on top of this, and it will have a separated, the same idea, rows and columns, but for LEDs, and if you need to connect them to the other ports. So you need to save some number of terminals in your microcontroller, and using this grid system and diodes is the only way to do that. Do you mean for circuit designing or what? For circuit design, I use only Eagle, because first of all, it has a freemium version, and for the hobby purposes you can use it. But there is also more professional software similar to the Eagle. For example, Altium design. It's way more professional, and it's aimed for high frequency circuits. So in case of in case of like hobby projects and everything that's under gigahertz frequency range, Eagle is more than enough, and even the gigahertz version you can do this. But if you go to the high frequency range, you need something that can help you with calculating. I see here. I forgot this. On some high frequency ranges, you need a thing that can calculate the length of the trace. So because then higher the frequency, then more some line, like if we're speaking about the message delivering, like like sending the impulse delivery. The high frequencies, the side effects that changes the form of the signal. It mixes up with other signals, and you need more powerful software. The Eagle is dedicated for like low frequency range and perfect for that purpose. Of course, there is also a lot of more simple versions than Eagle, but I find them not that interesting and not worth investing time to learn them, because they're too simple. They're dedicated for work with very simple layout without designing schematics first. So just making a quick PCB prototyping for very small projects. I would say Eagle is a golden standard for every. There is also KiCad, similar level like I would say Eagle, and some people really love to use KiCad over Eagle because the library of components, sometimes they have like really good library, but in the Eagle, libraries are created mostly by enthusiasts and other people, hobbyists, and not always perfectly or professionally done libraries. For example, I designed by myself a dozens of components that I couldn't find already library from manufacturer. For example, I buy some specific chip, but I don't have. Everything that I have is receive its data sheet, and this data sheet have a footprint and pin out. So then I search in the Google, but I can't find the library for the Eagle, and I have to write this library by myself. Did it many times, but I won't call it like a perfect way. And in the KiCad, sometimes happens to be that more professional done libraries. I don't know actually, is it possible to convert KiCad libraries to the Eagle or not? Probably not. So never switch to another software. Since it's not my professional thing, I don't see any reason why I should search in other tools. I kind of used to this Eagle. Even in the Eagle, I'm kind of newbie, but at least I know how it works. So in the Eagle, it's good that you just type the commands, and without clicking with a mouse or something like that. It's kind of a nice touch. Yeah, I used GLPCB, produced a couple of PCBs, but and gonna use it probably a similar platform, because it's like, I mean, that is one of the cheapest ways nowadays to produce these PCBs, and the easiest one. I used to produce PCBs by myself, making these prototypes at home using I forgot the like PCB etching process. I etched PCBs by myself. Not worth it. Too much time. Dangerous. Not healthy at all. Quality, poor quality, really poor quality. And since a couple of like years, I stopped to do this. So I prefer to order the PCBs from manufacturers. Saves time. You get a good quality. It's cheap, uncomparably cheap. Like etching components would cost you more than purchasing PCB at some manufacturer. I just have to say it's not for advertisement purpose, so nobody paid me. Would be weird with a small amount of subscribers, and still there is actually a European law that says I have to say or write this just to make it clear. Otherwise, it would be kind of a accepted like if I didn't said anything about some brand, anything good, and it would like kind of understood like it's an advertisement, even it's not. So it's always better to say, just to be in the frame of the law, just to follow it. In the borderlines of the law. Almost done with these things. 75 keys, if I remember correctly. 75 diodes. It will be kind of expensive. Yes, detectives, of 100%. There will be more Rust videos and more software development. It's just just a how do you call it in German? You call it Abwechslung. Just trying a different thing, taking the rest of the software development on the weekend. But yeah, definitely there will be more Rust videos. I'm into this thing, and this one is just more I like hardware and I like software, so I think there will be a lot of videos also with the hardware, but later on, and this one is just more experimental. And I planning actually I have an idea of making a database. So I like the idea of making a key value store, and this like also a really old idea of mine. I'd like to make a same key value store on the 3 different languages and just compare them. I don't know if there will be any difference between or not. So I'm familiar with Golang. And I'm familiar with a bit with Rust, and I'm also familiar with how do you call it, Haskell. And I was just curious, would there be any big difference between like language implementation? Just so if you have a same concept of the database written on the 3 different languages, would there be a huge difference between them or not? So I think after the series with operating system, I'm planning to do this database experiment, and this will be my one of like next projects. And this one is more something that makes fun right now. Actually, I'm open for any other ideas, so if you would like to see something particular, feel free to write. So do you have anything in mind, like, I don't know, what should be about the Rust operating system development or something different? Maybe I should do some stream also with software development. I don't know. I'm not great at Rust development as with Golang. So since I'm daily working with the Golang and Rust, it's more like using in the side projects. C#, it's kind of nice, complicated, difficult, I would say, but it's kind of nice, a powerful tool, and widely used in game development. Actually, I touched a bit by myself also Unity, so C# is really like the language for the Unity right now. Okay, I just cleaned up this section just to make it more visibly good. And let's say we have here our like microcontroller. Move. So just move it over here. Yeah, game development, it's also a really interesting topic. Currently trying to make some hobby like indie game dev by myself too, but it's kind of super time consuming. Yeah, I just made this thing. It's called a bus. So if you have like so many inputs and moving them around the schematics, it's painful. So what to do, it's you just connect it to the bus basically, and when you click on the actually you can say like select all these input outputs like columns and rows, include to the bus, and this kind of helps to move this around. Yeah, so if the Golang can be interesting, I can think about something for that too. So it's not a problem at all, because I mean I working with a Golang on daily basis, every day, all day, every day, all day. This would be row 5. I just want to rename these things. Row 4. Row 3. Row 2. Row 1. And the same for the columns, I guess. Col 1. Col 2. Col 3. It's kind of same idea through the Okay, and here in the bus can say I want all I just moving them to the, so this is what I saying, it's the this bus includes these wires. It would be like, it's similar that if you would have like a cable with many wires in it, and this is called a bus, and it helps you to move around a bunch of lines, signal lines, and have them more organized and controlled, and overall circuit looks cleaner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. There should be another one, right? Apply. 14. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 14. And now if you like would move this way, let's say if we for example, let's say we take PC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for rows, or PAs usually for analog used, but it's not necessarily. I don't remember the datasheet, but right now it's not that important for this microcontroller. We can say we click on the new line, and when you click on the bus, is it the same bus? It's not the same, I guess. No, it's not the same. Okay. What it should do is, if we're on the correct line, when you click on it, it should offer you the actually it should offer you a connection. Offer you to select a connection. But why it doesn't, I don't know. Oh, it's included. Click on this one. We can call it like row 1. it exists. Weird. Hmm. Let's try the other way around. Ah, yeah. Okay, so you need to do the other way around. So let's do the row 1, row 2, okay. You want all of them should be a member of this. I forgot how the buses work. Okay, I just will make everything apply save. So now everything it's a part of the main bus, and you right. Should you connect it directly to the... And two, it's not, but it is. I just made it. Weird. It says N something, it's not part of... Huh. So this one... Ah, okay. We was on the row 2, row 3. Row 4 and row 5. So let's say the PA will be these ones, and like it goes like that. So PA, B, C in this particular, and a couple of D ports, but it's not that important right now. If I remember correctly, any port can be digital outputs anyway, so it can be specific if some of the ports necessary for example, talking to the screen or talking to any specific thing. So I just would connect all these PCs ports to the columns, so we have all keyboard connected, like column 1, because there is enough of them. I'm sorry. Try to fix it. The keyboard that I'm using, it's custom. I can quickly show you. So I assume you're new here. So we made using the keyboard layout. We made a custom layout. It's kind of a semi-ortholinear and semi-staggered. So we have like ortholinear keyboard plus a staggered part on the right side. And we just designed it by ourselves right now on this stream, and this is the layout that will be implemented in this keyboard. I will try after the stream. I will try to It's a bit bigger. It's in direction of the 60% actually. 65. I saw 55. It has 70 keys, and basically, not really. Alps. Actually, it's not my cup of tea. I'm looking more into direction of the Zelios or Holy Pandas, like a more hyped right now. I'm personally like right now I'm on my daily drivers are cherry blue, but they are too heavy for me, and I trying to go into the direction of like lightweight tactile. If you can, or you think Alps are better, what you can advise? Maybe if there is something you can advise. I never used apps, to be honest, so I just searched them but never used. But also I skipped one thing. I'm planning to make this keyboard with a knob and with some LCD screen or some type of screen. I don't know if it's worth or not, but it's kind of fun to have a screen on your keyboard. Useless though. Can't find column 3. Did I call them 23? Probably. Column 4. Five. Okay, this was actually should have selected 8, right? So this should be 8. And this one should be column 9. Ten. 11. 12. 13. and 14. So basically this should be fine. Yeah, so this is base of it. Then I need an encoder because I'm planning to use this knob thing. I really need this encoder. And we need to select the knob, like also clickable knob, or maybe encoder. Rotary encoder. Sorry, there's different encoders in the world. Rotary encoder. I selected something, but I don't remember right now which one it was. It's not that one. Illuminated rotary encoder with 2 LEDs actually sounds good. There is a knob by itself illuminated. I think it's fine, actually. Why not? And the thing is, this switch should be connected likewise to the one of the rows. So I would make it like latest row, and put a diode here. Oh, it's kind of a weird. No, it won't work because the LEDs are connected and this not necessarily GND. It won't work in our case. Okay, let's search for another rotary. Just a normal rotary encoder, nothing special. Okay. Then it's just a standard switch like setup. It's necessary here. Just make a copy of LED, not LED, diode. And this will be a first row, and first last column. So like it would be on the right top side, so the rotary switch should be. And I also would connect it to the but I don't have to do that. I just would make these pinouts. Name them rotary B, rotor minus B, rotor C, and rotor A. Then connect these to this one, and since we have this since we have this switch, it's connected to this column, and right, it's already meant in this bus. It just will work by default, this click. and I would just connect the rotary to the rest of the A connections. It's just as we did this A, B, and C. So that's it basically. And of course, in the program, when we will make a build of the QMK, we will need when we make a build of QMK, we will need to connect. We'll need to connect the switch, click switch, and the rotary part to the QMK and somehow map it. But right now it's not the necessary part, so we don't need to do that. Then what to do? I want to leave out the part with display thing, because it's not like it will take way more time, and I want to leave it to the next sprints. Yeah, the encoder, it's like a rotary encoder. So you turn the knob, and basically that means you can assign it to wherever you want, like from scrolling the page to the volume of your speakers, of your music or something like that, system volume. And I mean to use, so I want to use it as a volume control for the system. So just you turn in, and click will be, I don't know, play, stop, play, something like that. Yeah, and again, just I want to go back to the original design. So this is like a rotary switch that will be. So it will be like that. So you have like keyboard with a sharp angle part, a small screen, some translucent part with lighting underneath with LEDs, and the knob that you can turn around. Small sum up of this one and this one, I guess, with a different layout. Yeah, this is what I'm aiming to do, and later when I'm done, I will place the whole layout and schematics right now that I have into the GitHub, and we'll place link underneath. So basically this it's a very base of this keyboard thing, the schematics. So as I said, there should be this connection to the screen, and there should be also the layer of LEDs, because we want the PCB support backlight. Sometimes it's very important, so there will be also a layer of LEDs. I'm already kind of out of my plan for the stream. It's already like more than 2 hours going on, so I would move this part to the next stream, and on the next time I'll finish this schematics and start maybe with a layout. This would be, I hope, next week. So next weekend I'll try to do the rest of the schematics and try to finish it. So thanks for being with me today on this stream. I really appreciate this, and hope you see all of you next time. And till the next weekend, bye bye.